Hey guys, Matt here. So this is kind of a different video for me. As you know, I normally don't do videos that revolve around a single Pokemon, but my recent experience using this Pokemon in one of my Let's Plays got me thinking, and I wanted to share my thoughts with you in this video. Before I get started, I want to ask you guys if you'd be so kind as to leave a thumbs up down below. Every like helps a small YouTuber like me, and if you enjoy my content, please subscribe. So, in this video, I want to talk about Empoleon. As I'm sure you know, Empoleon is a water and steel type Pokemon who is the final evolution of the Sinnoh starter Piplup. I think everyone agrees that Piplup is a pretty cute Pokemon. I mean, just look at it, right? Don't you just want to hug it? And then it evolves into Prinplup, which is, well, it's Prinplup. And then it finally evolves into Empoleon. Now, from my own experience in watching other YouTubers, Empoleon is one of those Pokemon that people either love or they strongly dislike. I've never heard of Empoleon being one of those Pokemon that people feel indifferently toward. For the longest time, I personally fell into that category of those who strongly dislike it. But after using Empoleon, I'm actually starting to question my own opinion on it. Allow me to explain. First of all, a lot of people who dislike Empoleon dislike it partly due to its design. Honestly, I never had a problem with its design. Do I love it? No, but I don't hate it. Samurott. I actually would consider myself to be indifferent toward that particular aspect of Empoleon. It's actually a combination of two things that has driven my dislike for Empoleon all this time. Its dual typing and its speed. As a water type Pokemon, I want to be able to use Empoleon against ground and rock type Pokemon, but its secondary steel typing all of a sudden makes it weak to ground type moves. Now, this typically wouldn't be an issue except for the fact that Empoleon is kinda slow. It has a base speed of 60, which is actually below the average base speed of a typical fully evolved steel type Pokemon, and water too for that matter. Not only is it slower than the other Pokemon of its types, but it's also slower than the average fully evolved ground type Pokemon. So if I'm battling against a ground type Pokemon with my Empoleon, thinking I'm going to take it out with Surf, chances are it'll actually hit me with an Earthquake first. Oh, and did I also mention that Empoleon's base defense is a good 32 points lower than that of your average fully evolved steel type. So if Empoleon gets hit by an Earthquake, it's toast. It's a water type Pokemon who will be lucky just to get off an attack against a ground type, something it's supposed to have an advantage against. So yeah, that's why I never particularly cared for Empoleon. But in my recent Let's Play of Pokemon Renegade Platinum, if you'd like to watch my Let's Play, there's a link to the playlist in the description below. I forced myself to choose Piplup as my starter simply because I had already used both Chimchar and Turtwig in previous Let's Plays, and I try to use brand new Pokemon in every game I play. Try being the key word there. As expected, Prinplup did a really good job against Roark's team, despite the fact that it is outspeed by a Cranidos, who is 2 levels lower, which resulted in Prinplup getting hit by a Thunder Punch. And Prinplup was able to take out Roark's entire 6 Pokemon team single-handedly. After that, however, things started to go kinda downhill for Prinplup and eventually Empoleon. The only other gym battles where Empoleon came in handy were the battles against Byron and Candace. And even then, I only used Empoleon against like 2 of their Pokemon each. I also had a very difficult time training Empoleon. I feel like whenever I put it in the front of my party, the Pokemon that I would end up battling were very bad matchups for Empoleon. By the time I got my 8 badges and found my way to the Pokemon League, I was considering Empoleon as the weakest link on my team at that point.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Do you guys remember Robert Horry? He was a professional basketball player who won 7 NBA championships between 1994 and 2007, the most of any player in recent history. And yes, he was part of some great teams during that time. He was part of the Houston Rockets, along with Hakeem Olajuwon for 2 of those championships. For his next 3 championships, he was part of the Los Angeles Lakers team that also included Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal. And for his last 2, he was with the San Antonio Spurs when the Big 3, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili, were all playing their best basketball. By no means was he the biggest star on any of the teams he played for, but he was instrumental in these teams winning their championships. He earned the nickname Big Shot Bob because of his clutch plays and making the big shots when it counted the most. During the regular season, he was a role player, a backup. In the playoffs is when he came alive. And that's what happened to my Empoleon in the Pokemon League. He came alive. I had pretty much written him off by this point. I thought he might come in handy against a dragon Pokemon that might pop up, but Empoleon came through in a really big way in pretty much every battle that I had in the Pokemon League. If I had to choose an MVP for the Pokemon League in Renegade Platinum, it was Empoleon. And after I became the champ and started exploring the battle zone and partaking in some of the other after-game events, Empoleon was a staple on my team. It was like a completely different Pokemon. Empoleon did well in almost every battle we had after that. He did awesome at the Battle Frontier, and I had Empoleon be my lead Pokemon in all 24 battles at the battleground. After I became champ, Empoleon pretty much became my go-to from that point forward. Unless it was battling against something it had a weakness to, it could take some hits. And that got me thinking, what was so different about the game before the Pokemon League versus after the Pokemon League? Because it was honestly a night and day difference as far as Empoleon was concerned. Was it just that the Pokemon we battled during and after the Pokemon League were better matchups for Empoleon? Is it because Empoleon hit a level where it could finally reach its full potential? The only change I really made to its moveset was to teach it Signal Beam, and I didn't use that move very often unless I was battling another water type. This game really made me rethink my previous opinion that I had about Empoleon. I still wish it was faster, but I've become a fan of the water and steel typing. And yeah, the design could be better, I guess. But as long as Empoleon is used the right way, it's one heck of a Pokemon, and it might just be my favorite of the 3 Sinnoh starters now. Anyway, tell me what you guys think about my analysis of Empoleon, and let me know what you guys have experienced when you've used Empoleon. Like I said at the beginning, I've never done a video like this where I focus on one single Pokemon, but if you guys like this video, let me know, and I may try to do more videos like this going forward. Until then, please leave a like, leave a comment, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.